Friday practice in Las Vegas is over, and Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton were the fastest drivers of the day, as Red Bull look like they've got the setup completely wrong. But what did we learn? Well, in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the data from practice and doing a data analysis. If you enjoyed the video then please hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. Now, let's get into the video. As usual, I'll be talking about the top teams later on, so please do stick around for that. And yes, we will specifically be talking about why Red Bull look like they've got the setup completely wrong, so please do stick around for that. Yes, Friday is over and the cold temperatures of the Nevada desert has definitely thrown a curveball into the equation, as we saw drivers locking up and really struggling for grip and traction out on track. Off of the racing line, there was a lot of dust as well, which will make the race interesting because it looks as though off the racing line there may not be much grip at all, and drivers may be struggling due to the dust at getting the cars stopped when they're trying to overtake. Because of how dusty and dirty the Las Vegas circuit was, we did see a lot of circuit evolution, which is what you can see when you compare the FP1 to FP2 times of Lewis Hamilton, as he was the fastest driver in both sessions. And when you look at these two times, you can see that Hamilton makes up most of the time through the corners because he has more grip, allowing him to carry more speed at the apex. For example, here, just before the run down the Las Vegas Strip, Hamilton carried 9 km/h more speed at the apex, and this helps him not just through the corner, but it also helps him all the way down the strip. He gained over 0.3 of a second in that one corner. Then at the end of the Las Vegas Strip, at the heavy braking zone, Hamilton brakes later and also carried more speed, gaining another 0.2 of a second in that one corner. In 2 corners alone, Hamilton has made up over half a second, which is why his lap time improved by 1.2 seconds. Also, just for context, this lap by Hamilton was 1.4 seconds faster than the fastest lap in FP2 from last year, which makes sense as the cars are faster and also they have a lot more data to work with for setting their cars up for this Las Vegas Grand Prix. Let's now take a look at the top speeds that the teams are able to reach, and what can we see here? Well, what we can see here is why I said Red Bull have made a mistake with the setup. Yes, Red Bull have admitted after practice that they have brought the wrong rear wing, and there's not really that much they can do about it due to this being a flyaway race. Red Bull have brought too big of a rear wing, and they are suffering in a straight line. It almost makes it more annoying that the Drivers' Championship is pretty much over, because this could have been an open goal for Lando Norris and McLaren to score back some points. Red Bull are only able to reach right now a top speed of 342 km/h. I expect they are going to trim the rear wing as much as they can, but they are definitely compromised right now. On the flip side though, Ferrari are looking very fast in a straight line, as they were able to reach a top speed of 350 km/h. And also with the midfield teams, I have to say I am surprised with Alpine, as they were able to reach a top speed of 349 km/h, once again showing how they have really moved forward as the season has progressed. It will be interesting to see how this changes though after qualifying. In the midfield then, what teams are looking good? Well, there are 2 teams right now looking very close in the battle for 6th in the Constructors' Championship, and they are looking very close on track, as Alpine and Haas are both locked in a very close battle, both in the championship and so far this weekend, as Pierre Gasly was 6th fastest and Kevin Magnussen was 7th fastest and less than half a tenth behind, and Nico Hülkenberg was in 9th. These 2 teams look like they are the most likely to finish in that illustrious 6th place, as VCarb are just a little bit off and Williams look like they are out of contention. Going into the race, I still expect Haas to be the stronger team of the 2 and retake 6th place in the Constructors' Championship, because Haas, I think, are just a little bit better than Alpine when it comes to race trim, and also they're probably going to be a little bit more reliable. I just want to say, if you're enjoying the video so far, then I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. Now though, let's get back to the video and let's talk about Mercedes. For Mercedes then, it was the perfect Friday, and to be honest, they are looking strong over one lap, as the cold conditions are working perfectly for their car and tyres, as they are really not able to overheat them. Mercedes' biggest issue this year has been overworking the tyres, but due to the conditions being around 10 degrees Celsius, they are working perfectly, and we saw Lewis Hamilton top both practice sessions, and when you look and compare the long runs of Russell and Norris, Mercedes are still looking very strong in race trim as well, and you can see that in this long run, Russell was the faster car. I'm not including Hamilton in this because Lewis did his long run on soft compound tyres, which makes it pretty tricky to actually do a comparison with. Right now though, Mercedes are looking like they could be in the hunt to potentially even win this weekend, not just be on the podium, and it really feels like they should be in a position to win. They just need to not make too many changes to the car, now that they seem to be in a good position. For Red Bull then, as I said earlier, they have brought the wrong rear wing and they are suffering for it right now, as they are dreadfully slow in a straight line, which is what you can see here when you compare the circuit domination of Lando Norris and Max Verstappen with their fastest laps. It gets even worse for Red Bull when you then compare Verstappen to Bottas. You can see Red Bull are just losing time on the straights. As I said when I was talking about the top speeds earlier on, Red Bull have a lot of work to do. I expect they are going to reduce the rear wing as much as they can, but it will be a compromised setup now. And to be honest, they are going to be even more thankful for Max Verstappen and Verstappen's drive in Brazil, because that essentially secured them the Drivers' Championship. Because if that didn't happen and Verstappen finished in 5th place, and let's say Norris won that race in Brazil, then we could be looking at a very different run into the end of this World Championship, given Red Bull look like they could be throwing this weekend away. For Ferrari then, they have had a pretty solid start to the weekend, but there are still going to be question marks when it comes to qualifying and if they can generate tyre temperatures. I do have to say though, in race trim, they are looking great. Remember when we compared Russell to Norris before, and Russell was slightly faster? Well, when you compare Leclerc to Russell, then you can see that Leclerc is much closer to George, showing that Ferrari this weekend, at least in race trim, are looking like they could be the best or second best team. It is just a question over whether they can do that in qualifying, as Carlos Sainz was 4th fastest and Charles Leclerc was only 5th fastest today, and they were about 3/10 away from Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris, showing that over one lap, they do have work to do. But, like I said, if they can get on top of that, and they can fire those soft tyres up, and then get themselves on the front row or the second row, then the Grand Prix could be very strong for Ferrari. Finally, for McLaren, they are looking potentially less strong this weekend than what we have seen in recent weekends. Yes, Lando Norris was 2nd fastest and just off of the Mercedes, but teammate Oscar Piastri was almost a second down and was beaten by Magnussen and Gasly. Then when it came to the race runs, Norris was looking a little bit weaker than Mercedes and Ferrari, which was a bit of a surprise. The Drivers' Championship is all but over now, but there is still a fight to be had in the Constructors' Championship, and McLaren are still the team leading this, and they need to make sure they don't somehow fall back and lose that position to Ferrari, who are coming thick and fast. I still think we could be seeing a McLaren on pole position, but it is just a matter of what they can do when the race gets underway. So with that in mind then, what are my predictions for qualifying for the Las Vegas Grand Prix? Well, I think the top midfield team and midfield driver in qualifying will be the Haas team, and I am going to go for Nico Hülkenberg to pull out a lap and be the top midfield driver. But what about the top 5 in qualifying? Well, in P5, I am going to go for Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. P4 will be Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, P3 will be Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, P2 will be Lando Norris in the McLaren, and I am going to go for a George Russell to put it on pole position for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Either that or he's probably going to crash. But those are my thoughts. The question is, what do you guys think will happen? In the comment section down below, please do let me know. And as always, comment, leave a like, and subscribe for more F1 content. Thank you all so much for watching.